you how my 5-month social media cleanse went. I'm going to talk mostly geared towards business profiles for Instagram. And that is where I was doing most of my advertising, my marketing as a brand, as an entrepreneur. And that's the relationship I had with social media, was my business profile on Instagram. And as I grew and as I gained followers and likes and all of that stuff, I started to notice I wasn't feeling very fulfilled. I was actually feeling worse. And that's when I realized that I put a lot of my self-worth in this platform. And I was having not the best relationship with it. And as we know, if you've ever seen The Social Dilemma, that social media, Instagram, can be very addicting. And for me, I needed to take a break. I kind of needed to come back to center and almost figure out who I was again. It's a lot of putting out stuff for the eyes of others. And that's what it's all about. And that's what generates likes, and that's what generates followers and things of that nature. And it's really easy to lose yourself. Now, I'm going to speak first about what benefits I received during my cleanse. First of all, I loved being on this cleanse. I really loved it. It was difficult at first because I didn't have anything to divert my attention to, because that's what we do when we're uncomfortable. So that was one thing that I found was a big difference for me. I became a little more present. I became more comfortable in the uncomfortable moments. Like when you're standing in line and you have nothing to do and you're kind of standing there awkwardly. There's no shame in standing there awkwardly, but we feel so weird doing it. So we grab our phone and we start scrolling. Now, I now was trying not to use my phone as much and be a little more present during this detox, and that's exactly what I did. Instead of taking out my phone and looking for a distraction, I actually started looking around, and I started looking at people's behaviors and seeing what was going on, and almost looking at like the different signs or whatever else that the world would show me. And if you've ever read Deepak Chopra and The Power of Coincidence, that's kind of what I started to do. And I found myself almost enjoying the simple things of going to the grocery store and standing in line and not getting aggravated with how long the line was, but enjoying standing there and looking around in the process. And it was quite incredible. And I just found that with more things in my life, and that's what led me to start doing more present moment type of activities, going for walks with no headphones, by myself, looking around at the people, listening at the park, sitting down, and spending more time with myself, which then tapped my creativity. And all of a sudden, once all the noise was cleared from all the social media, because it's easy when everything's in front of your face to look at other people and what they're doing and not really know what you want to do, not really know what ideas are in your mind. So when you're sitting in that moment, you're able to cultivate these incredible ideas and creativity and do things that you don't normally do, because all of the noise is cleared. And now all of a sudden everything in your mind just kind of slows down. So my creativity was incredibly tapped. I felt more authentic. And in addition to that, my relationships were starting to feel deeper. I was creating deeper connections with people, because it wasn't just a slide in the DMs and a chit-a-chat. Like, it was calls, FaceTime, it was hour-long conversations, it was meaningful text messages. It was things that became a lot deeper to me. And that's because, again, all the noise was gone. And I really was happy with how deeply I was connecting and how not distracted I was. And yeah, I loved that part. In addition to that, I tapped deeper into my intuition, decision making, communication, taking a step back and seeing things for what they are. And oh my gosh, like, it's incredible how much social media can impact your intuition, because there's just, again, there's so much going on. But now when you're slowed down, you can really make those intuitive decisions. And I can't explain how important that is for business and for life. Whether it's making a decision in a relationship, making a business transaction, buying a property, anything, any big decision, it's important to everything else and hone into how you're really feeling. Because it's hard to feel how we really feel when everything's in like full-blown motion. And that's what it felt like for me when I was on social media. And these are the things I'd like to carry through, because social media and Instagram is very powerful. It's a powerful platform for someone who is an entrepreneur to market themselves. You're in front of everybody, but that's almost the problem. So I have laid out some mental management tips to how to move forward with using social media as a business, while also keeping yourself. And the first one is not to overshare your information, creating boundaries. And it's almost like going on a first date and you barely know the person and you tell them your whole life story and you cross all your boundaries. And you're sitting there now second guessing yourself, like, maybe I shouldn't have told that person all that. And same thing with Instagram. You're in front of all of these people that you don't know. And I know that we're pushed to be more vulnerable and to share our stories. And I know that they're helpful. But where's the point where you're thinking about yourself versus thinking about others? Because you're no good to anybody else if you're not good for yourself. And that means, in some cases, keeping some stuff for you. Because that can be very intrusive when people hold a lot of your stories and then you give them the right to judge and listen and hear, and that's giving a lot of your energy away. Now, I'm not saying don't share, but create some healthy boundaries. And I'm also not saying don't create this facade and leave out all of the bad and only tell the good. There has to be some healthy balance, but you don't need to give it all away. You first need to feel fulfilled energetically in order to give energetically. And again, that might mean creating some boundaries as to how much you share and how much of you give away. Because when you think about it, think about all the famous people. All of their information and all of their lives are out there for everybody to see and to judge. And then when you go and do that, it becomes the same. And what happens with a lot of famous people, they are not very happy, or they kind of tip. And you don't want to get to that point because it's intrusive. Everybody has access to them. And there needs to come a point where you need to unplug. So creating that business relationship with Instagram, integrating some personal as it pertains to your business, and leaving some for you. I know a lot of people, and not to mention, this is a big reason why people hire other people to manage their Instagrams now. That's becoming a big thing. And they're doing it because they can't take it. They can't take it because it's a lot. So if you can slow down and if you can compartmentalize, you'll form a better relationship with Instagram. Now, in addition to that, we must stop putting our worth into other people. Before, you start really engaging on Instagram and putting yourself out there, you have to come into agreement with yourself. I hold my own self-worth, not other people, not my likes, not my followers. I'm here to make an impact, even if it's just in a small dose to 10 people in this small corner of the world. I'm here to make an impact. So you must put your own worth in yourself before you lose yourself, rather than putting it in other people. Because when we put it in other people and we follow all the regimens that everybody puts online, and yes, they're helpful. But if we're doing everything that everybody else is doing, we start to lose track of ourselves. And how do we know how anything makes us feel if we're just following everybody else? So again, keep some stuff to yourself. Put your worth within yourself and know that you know best for yourself. You love yourself. This self-love is really going to come in here. And just knowing I own my self-worth, not you. And understanding maybe where somebody's coming from if they would like to ridicule you or judge you. And that's going to be difficult at times. But you have to come back to center. Don't abandon yourself and give in to those judgments. You come back and you let yourself know, like, I got you. I own my self-worth. And that way you'll stay with yourself and you're going to know your body. You're going to know what makes you feel good and what makes you doesn't feel good, when you need to tap out, when you need to tap in, and help you make better decisions. And like I said, tap into that intuition and that creativity, and you'll be going. You'll be going more and more. Nobody makes it so far when they care about what other people think. But that's the hardest part. Social media almost feeds into that, finding validation in other people. But we need to validate us first. So that leads me to go into this social media marketing thing with intention. When you move with good intention, you can't go wrong. Go into it with intention and consciously remind yourself of that intention. Do not go into it for your ego. Do not go into it to feed your soul the wrong food, which is gas, like somebody to gas you up and to make you feel validated, which is likes and follows and whatever else. Go into it with the right intention, being, I want to make an impact in this corner of the world as good as I can. But make sure you do the work first. Check in with yourself, know where you're at, and move forward. This could be a trial and error process for anybody. But it's not easy. Like I said, these apps are designed to make you addicted. But you have to come to a point, you are strong. Anybody is strong enough to say, I'm in control of my social media. Social media is not in control of me. I control it. I control my self-worth. I control my value and all of that. And these are really important to remember because there is an increase in depression, anxiety, especially in the younger age. Like, we can't take it anymore. It's really becoming concerning. And I took my cleanse for that reason, because after I watched The Social Dilemma, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this really what it is? And then taking a 5-month cleanse and then seeing it for what it really is. But it can be managed just like anything else. Just like if you're an alcoholic, you can manage that. You can manage that addiction. But it needs to be well managed, and you need to form a good relationship with that alcohol. Same with social media. You need to form a good relationship with social media. This isn't just, this can be a very incredible platform when used correctly, when the right energy is put into it. You do not want to deplete yourself just for followers, because Instagram's not going to be there forever. When you're old and gray, you're probably not going to use social media. I mean, maybe. But what's going to be there is you. And you're going to be thankful you had your back rather than selling your soul to social media. So, as I took this cleanse, I learned all of this. And I asked people a lot of questions, and I did my research. And I came to these important points because I do see the world suffering because of it, but I also see the world exploding with positivity, and really great accounts are on there. Things that people teach you is like profound. It's just like the businesses people start there is making millions, but also helping others and giving people jobs. Like, it's great, but we must learn to work with it. It's not just something I don't think that we can use lightly. So I'd really be interested to hear what everybody else has to say about this. So drop in the comments like your relationship with Instagram and maybe any other tips that you have regarding like how to manage it mentally, because it's impacting the world in negative ways but positive ways, and we want to move it more towards the positive way as best we can. So let me know. I'm happy to be here, happy to help, and good luck.